Hi, my name is François Normandin. I'm a certified LabVIEW architect and LabVIEW champion, and I'm sponsoring the LabVIEW Open Source Project. There are two ways where you can find the code. You can go on the GitHub LabVIEW Open Source project page, which is github.com/labview-open-source, and also all the packages are currently deployed on vipm.io, so you can go on vipm.io and search for the LabVIEW Open Source. Let's see if I don't make any typos. So LabVIEW Open Source, there you go. So all the packages that are published are listed there, and you can follow us directly from that page as well. Whenever you install a new package from the LabVIEW Open Source Project, you're going to see a palette that's going to show up under add-ons. And so I'm going to just go use LabVIEW 2020. Most of the code is written in LabVIEW 2013. So if you want to collaborate with this project and publish your own code and do your own contribution, the LabVIEW 2013 is the version of predilection for keeping it as widely used as possible, so that many people that are not as up to date with the latest versions and functionality of LabVIEW 2020, for example, would still be able to use the code. Most of the code that you'll find on LabVIEW Open Source Project is coded with LabVIEW 2013 SP1, so that means that you won't find anything or that much code that out there that makes use of malleable VIs or LabVIEW interfaces, which are brand new from LabVIEW 2020. That being said, if you go into your pallets, you will find the open source project under the add-ons. So yes, it's a bit hidden away, but it keeps your palette clean. I really insist on that. That it doesn't pollute everything and tries to be in your face. If you want to use it, you should know it's there. A few of the things that are there: the open serializer, some data manipulation. Data manipulation is some variant tools that are pretty fast. They're not as comprehensive as OpenG or others like MGI or GPower that have other variant stuff, but the get name set name is extremely fast, and also the extract cluster elements and change from to build arrays. They're a bit faster than the OpenG parts. There are also list elements that can be an interesting one, where whatever you put, it's going to list the element names, but it further supports event class. And so if you have an event registration refnum and you want to inspect what are the things that are there, you'll have all the element names, like, hey, this is a temperature change event, and the event class is user defined, or or it's a VI reference change, or things like that, mouse click, or you have much more granularity into there, and you can inspect. So I encourage you to look into that. There's also the open descriptor, which again, not as comprehensive as what you would find in OpenG, for example, but the get name, set name, and some of those that they're a bit faster, much more low level than the OpenG. So for some applications where speed might be of an issue, it can be interesting to go into those palettes and look at that. Mqtt is the big thing right now for the LabVIEW Open Source Project. So you can get all the Mqtt control palettes under there, comprehensive palette for that. Mqtt connections, which is an abstraction for connection layer that essentially wraps a TCP, a local queue, or a WebSocket, or even a secure TCP connection, available only in LabVIEW 2020 for that palette, but all the others are available for LabVIEW 2013. These connections are not specific to Mqtt, although you find them in Mqtt connection. but you do have an API that 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 allows you to simulate, you know, a server and a client architecture directly in an abstracted way. So this code here is completely reusable, and you only change the configuration based on the type of, you know, you want to have a WebSocket. Well, put a WebSocket configuration instead of a local queue configuration, and that's about the only thing that changes. The rest of the code is extremely simple and mimics pretty much the TCP palette if you're familiar with that. All right. Also, what else on the LabVIEW Open Source Project? You're going to find a few videos out there on the client and broker, the server architecture for Mqtt. This is really a full spring, you know, if you want to have an Mqtt server, just drop this and bam, you have an Mqtt server on your machine. You want a client, there's a few types of implementation. You can just have a publisher that, let's say you only have a node that is publishing temperature or some data points. Make sure that the connection is properly configured. TCP connection, local queue connection, WebSocket connection, whatever connection you want, and essentially this is all that you need. You would have very quick server and client architecture. And finally, there's a you know, LabVIEW Open Source Project shortcut in the tools menu. Certification Authority is one of those packages that you can install to help you create your own and manage your own self-signed certificates for your local deployments. If you are working, you know, across the real network, not in your plant, in your manufacturer, or your own lab, I don't think you should use your own self-signed certificates. For example, if you're out there, you know, installing these cereals to control wind farms, please go the proper route and don't use self-signed certificates. But otherwise, this is a tool that is available on the LabVIEW Open Source Project as well. And you can open our GitHub project page, which you know, allows you to follow the latest developments on all these packages that are out there. Yeah, that's it. I think if you do have any concerns about a package, try to report the issues on the GitHub. Go, for example, on our GitHub LabVIEW Mqtt broker and go into the issues and see if you want to contribute there. That would be much appreciated. There are some wiki pages that we try to maintain with some documentation that hopefully is useful for you. Not all of the projects have documentation. If you would like to contribute with anything, please reference it there. I'd be happy to put a link to your own references. Otherwise, another way to contribute to documentation is to, on the vipm.io, there's a way to post resources if you want. So if you have a video or blog or anything that you want to reference to a package that already exists. So this is definitely where you will find these videos that you're probably watching right now. So they will make it into this resource page, but also as you know, in either the README part of the project, or maybe directly in a future LabVIEW Open Source website, which it exists, but it's not there. So no worries if this is probably the last place where you want to look anyway. Too many places to look at. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ping me either on LinkedIn or on this GitHub project page. I try to make myself available to answer questions and concerns fairly rapidly. So thank you for listening.